Hello everybody and welcome back to the RORSRPS Season 2 Qualifier. My name is Preston Vieira and I'll be your host as we move through our two brackets tonight to close out the week. If you're new to this format, here's how it works. We have some requests that were given on the RORSRPS Instagram, and those requests, some returning trucks, and some random ones are going to face off tonight after being chosen by Wheelspin. Each of our winners of our two 16-truck racing brackets will become our next Season 2 qualifiers. As usual, please consider subscribing if you enjoy tonight's event and want to keep up with the qualifiers or catch the soon-to-come Season 2 featuring 3 Tours of Chaos with a new total of 48 main field trucks. Don't forget to head over to the Instagram and drop a follow to our official page at RORSRPS because starting tomorrow, this Saturday, all of our tour placement votes will begin taking place exclusively over the weekends, and I need your help to decide which tours our new qualifiers are going to be competing on. Now it's time to finish up with our picks here on the reuse wheel and head over to the full selection wheel to finish out our bracket. As I mentioned, we do have only a couple requests this episode, but that's what the wheel spin system is for. Extreme Insanity, another NAMP truck. Now those trucks don't necessarily do too well on this track, as we've seen over the last couple of episodes. The NAMP trucks just struggle. Party Time specifically ended up getting caught up on the front end on the bridge and going over way too early to take a win. Wolverine, Werewolf Node Beam, the Blackwell version, coming out to party with us tonight. And here is a look at your full lineup. We're going to shuffle this up 3 times and find our matchups for our round 1 of racing. There it is, your official lineup that will lead to our matchups, and here they are. Round 1 is going to be Extreme Insanity taking on Pastrana 199, that Dodge. An Escalade is going to be taking on Gravedigger. Kraken is going to be taking on Team Hot Wheels Firestorm. Boogie Van will take on Spider-Man 2099. The 2 Werewolf Node Beam trucks facing off, Lucas Stabilizer and Wolverine. Team Suzuki will take on Kamikaze. Hot Wheels, the custom 2020 version, is going to be taking on Time Flies, and 106.7, the Fox, is going to be taking on Piece of Scrap. And this is going to be an awesome bracket, and we're going to potentially get a really awesome qualifier out of this. Both of our first 2 opponents of the night on the line, ready to go, and we're going green as we head up onto that first starting elevation jump. Over the step up, Pastrana 199 getting in trouble the same way Bounty Hunter did yesterday in episode 5. Extreme Insanity with a lead right now, a NAMP truck, as we mentioned before. He may not be able to hold that lead unless Pastrana makes a big mistake at some point. He already made one. If he makes another, that could be it for Pastrana 199. Extreme Insanity leading into the slalom. Will Pastrana be able to start making his way back? Both trucks looking good. Extreme Insanity doing a good job of controlling his turns here. As we mentioned, these NAMP trucks do get real squirrely if you turn them wrong. And Extreme Insanity doing a good job so far. And there it is right there. Showcasing it beautifully, what you don't want to do in a NAMP truck. Pastrana 199, a very slight lead here, but it's neck and neck on the bridge. Little slip from Extreme Insanity. Looking for a transfer for Pastrana 199. Nicely done, keeping it under control. Extreme Insanity tapping the cab on the top of the tunnel. He's still running. They didn't shut him off for that. It must not have been too hard, but do want to be careful. They will shut you off if you get a big hit on the cab or on the important pieces of the chassis, really, through the tunnel. Pastrana 199 coming out of that chicane with a big lead on Extreme Insanity. It doesn't look like Insanity is going to do it. Pastrana 199 already through that final turn. We'll see if he can tighten up the screws next round as he moves on up the bracket. He'll be coming back for round 2 here in our first bracket of the night. Extreme Insanity coming up short on the triple hard hit on the nose. Rebounding right back onto the roof, and that is going to do it for Extreme Insanity. He already lost the race, and insult to injury there on the triple. An Escalade bringing back that World Final 7 white body, and a Gravedigger, a Werewolf Node Beam version on your left. We'll see how that truck does here. Werewolf trucks seeming to excel in the turns on this track, not so much in the straights. They just don't keep up generally with the V4 trucks. But Gravedigger off to an early lead. Nice little slap wheelie. That's the kind of slap wheelie you want to get if you're going to get any on that first straight. I mean, you don't want to get up too high to where you have to let off the gas, because you need every ounce of power you can to get across that first gap here on the first floor. An Escalade trying to make up some ground here. Spinners spinning on them rims as we head over to this double roller section here. Who's going to come out cleaner? An Escalade, nicely done. Gravedigger getting crooked, getting up on the sidewalls and setting it back down on all 4 BKTs. He's going to have to reverse and realign here to try and get back up to starting elevation, nearly missing it there. An Escalade getting kicked around all over the place on the bridge. Can he hold it together the rest of the race and fend off Gravedigger? Of course, one of the biggest names in Monster Jam. Been around 40 plus years. An Escalade going over in the tunnel. Not too hard of a hit. They do let him keep running. Gravedigger really fighting to make up any time he can here. Struggling as he heads into the bridge, or into the tunnel, excuse me. An Escalade going long to low there. And back up onto that elevated turn. Gravedigger doing the same. You kind of have to as a werewolf truck, though. You smack face first into that ramp face there on the elevated turn, and you are done for sure, whether you have a lead or not. Gravedigger, nicely done, keeping it off of the roof there around that chicane, and Escalade is up and over the triple already. It's not going to happen for Gravedigger, and he goes down on top of it. Another truck taking a spill here in round 1, and another truck insult to injury. Rough turn there at the end for Gravedigger. Down he goes. Escalade moving on to round 2. Kraken coming back with that World Finals 22 body on your right. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm with that World Finals 17 body debuting here for the first time on this channel. We'll see how they do neck and neck here, or face to face I should say, as we head up and over the step up. Not too far apart here. Hot Wheels definitely does have a slight lead, but Kraken's right there with them. Heading into the first turn of the first floor. It's looking good for Hot Wheels, but Kraken really giving him a run for his money here. Both trucks looking really good here tonight. Hot Wheels killing it, but Kraken seems to be, with the experience that he's been getting, tightening up all the screws that he was, that were loose. He's killing it here on the first floor. Leads heading down the ski hill and up onto the bridge. Will Hot Wheels be able to come back is the question. He does, as Kraken gets a little crooked up and over the cars. Looking for a solid transfer here, though. Both trucks getting it done. Kraken, I would say, might have even done it a little bit better as he gets right back neck and neck with Hot Wheels. Who's going to shoot the gap? Who's going to come long to low? Kraken goes long to low there. We have seen him get into trouble trying to shoot that gap a couple times in his multiple chances here. He tries to keep it controlled. He is behind Hot Wheels. Going that long to low route really takes a lot of time, and it hurts your run overall. And that just showcases it right there, neck and neck the whole race. But it's Hot Wheels heading up and over the triple and over the finish line first. Not a bad race from Kraken at all. Just didn't want to take that chance in the gap, and it hurt him. Which, I mean, good for him. He got to finish his race, right? And he wasn't too far behind. But unfortunately does not get to move on to round 2. Boogie Van is back here on your right, taking on Spider-Man 2099. We just saw Spider-Man 2099, and he's looking to get into Season 2. He has the power and the skill to do it. He just, doesn't necessarily use it at all times. Definitely uses the power. Skill, on the other hand, 2099 up on the rear end, on top of the Jackrabbit, going down. That is it for Spider-Man 2099. Wow. Boogie Van free and clear to take a win here in round 1. As he heads into the slalom, we'll see if he can keep that truck under control until the end and get across that finish line. Boogie Van, another custom truck that, I don't want to brag or nothing, but I did paint this thing really quick to fulfill a requested truck We had a Boogie Van on Sim Monsters, but it is the 2013 version. I wanted to give pay a little homage to the original, so I brought back that purple and white scheme, and I like the way it came out. You know, it's a very early V4 truck, so it's not the prettiest, but it works, and it's fun to drive, and he is doing well so far here, getting through that first floor. Coming up to the gap. This is a perfect time to, I was going to say take it easy, but if you want to take a practice and see how you're going to land that gap, that's a good option too. You know, you just might end up upside down if you miss it, and then you got to rerun the race. Boogie Van heading into that final turn now, and that is going to do it. Boogie Van moves on to round 2 as he heads up and over the triple. Getting over into the other lane here. Boogie Van got to control that. I mean, it's not like we're going to, you know, DNF him or nothing for doing that, but, you know, you want to stay in your lane. Boogie Van headed out and back to the pits. Get that truck ready for round 2 here. Fix those sway bars. Lucas Stabilizer coming out next on your right, taking on Wolverine, the 2 Werewolf no beam breakable trucks. And we're going hard here in round 1, launching off of that starting line. Stabilizer has had a shot here before. Can she get those gremlins under control? Nearly goes over there. Wolverine, first time he's showing up as a werewolf truck and bringing out that, you know, more current body. We'll see how he does for his first time on the track. Stabilizer in the lead now, as Wolverine had to come up short in the gap. Both of these trucks are werewolves, as we mentioned, and as we mentioned multiple times before, these trucks really do well in the slalom, generally speaking. You know, Lucas wasn't the smoothest there at the end, but oh, Lucas having to back up to try and get back up to starting elevation. Wolverine reclaims the lead. Not looking good for Lucas right now. Wolverine nearly clipping that, or does clip that center divide, nearly snaps a wheel off, and that can definitely happen. We saw Hooligan do it in a recent episode. So you definitely want to try to stay off the walls in the tunnel and off of that center divide on the bridge. Lucas Stabilizer doing pretty well here. She's very far behind, but you know, she's keeping that truck together this time around, which you love to see. Wolverine already coming out of that elevated turn. It doesn't look like it's going to happen for Stabilizer here in round 1. Wolverine up and over that semifinal jump and coming around that final turn. Stabilizer really putting that power down, trying to get to that final turn, but it's not going to happen for her. Wolverine up and over the finish line to close it out here in round 1. Lucas Stabilizer is done. Solid effort, but that mistake in the double roller on the first floor really took her out, and that was really the decision maker. I mean, she had a lead, and it probably would have ended up being neck and neck towards the end there, but if it weren't for that mistake, but the mistake happened, and mistakes happen, and they can put you out, and that just showcases it perfectly right there. Team Suzuki coming out next on your right, and she'll be taking on Kamikaze on your left. See how they do. First time for either one of these trucks to take on the Spin Master Showdown track. Suzuki kind of taking a rollover approach there, where Kamikaze kind of aired it out over it. And for the gap, who's going to end up better? Suzuki flying. Both of them get solid landings. But it's Suzuki taking the lead here so far in the first round. Suzuki looking solid through the slalom. Kamikaze doing well, but not doing much in the way of gaining on Suzuki. He's kind of holding that same position that he's been in this entire race so far. Both of them doing well over the double roller and getting back up onto starting elevation. Things are heating up here in the Spin Master Showdown. Neck and neck up onto the bridge. One mistake from Suzuki and Kamikaze can make it up. For a beautiful transfer from Suzuki. She pulls it off. Same thing for Kamikaze though. Kamikaze throwing down a solid lap. Just not able to catch Suzuki. Rough hit on the front end for Suzuki, but gets up onto starting elevation anyway with a solid landing. As we head around that chicane for Team Suzuki, it's not gonna happen for Kamikaze unless there's a big slip in this final turn. Great final turn from Kamikaze, but it's not gonna happen here. Suzuki, Team Suzuki, heading up and over the finish line and moving on to the next round tonight. Great race. First time on the track and killed it out here. Eliminating Kamikaze, who, I mean, we have had him on the channel before, but this is his first time taking on this Spin Master Showdown qualifier track. Team Hot Wheels coming out on your right, taking on Time Flies. First time we're seeing Time Flies, I believe, on the channel, but definitely on this track. See how they do face to face. Heading up and over the kicker. Or step up, excuse me. Time Flies a little bit behind right now, but doing good. Entering into the slalom. It's close here. A big slide from Time Flies. Hot Wheels a little crooked on the double roller. Comes up a little short. Time Flies does it well, but gets a slap wheelie. And that puts him up crooked for that starting elevation, and down he goes. Unable to get the save. Hot Wheels free and clear to grab an advancement into the next round. We'll see if he can cross that finish line in just a second here. Unfortunate break for Time Flies. Decent transfer there into the tunnel, keeping that truck controlled and off the walls. Love to see it. What's he gonna do for the gap? He's gonna come up short, doesn't want to chance it. I feel like in round one, if your opponent goes down, you should always kind of come up short on that gap. One, to keep the truck safe, but two, I mean, it's just better. You know what I mean? You don't have the pressure of someone trying to get you to go as fast as possible. You can shoot it, but I mean, if you break the truck, you end up upside down. You know, it's, I don't know. I would just probably come up short if I was by myself. There's no reason not to. But I mean, hey, get a practice jump in. Hot Wheels moves on to the next round. Here's our last race of round one. 106.7, the Fox is back with an all-new version of that truck. Piece of scrap on your left. First time we're seeing him. Send it flag waving in the wind here as we get going for your final race of the first round. Piece of scrap, big slap wheelie. Gonna have to check up and slow the truck down to recover from that. 106.7, the Fox, a slight lead, but piece of scrap catches right back up. Another rough bounce there from piece of scrap, slowing him down again. Apparently he's no slouch. He caught right back up to 106.7 before. Can he do it again? Heading through the slalom, it is 106.7 in the lead, but a big slide slows him down here as we head up and over that double roller. Piece of scrap is making up some ground. The Fox is the first one down the ski hill and up onto the bridge. But piece of scrap is right behind him, breathing down his neck. The Fox can feel the intimidation coming from piece of scrap. Can he hold on? Oh, hard hit on that front end, right into the roof of the tunnel. Piece of scrap gets to him. Piece of scrap will be moving on to round two if he can complete his first pass. Up onto that elevated turn. That's what I'm talking about right there. You love to see it when they come up short. You just want to preserve the truck. Finish the lap. Don't chance it. Heading around that final turn. Piece of scrap nice and tight. He needs to bring that turn into the next round. He might be able to grab another win. And here he goes, heading up and over the finish line. Piece of scrap coming back in just a minute. What a race to end the first round. Unfortunate break for 106.7, the Fox. Hopefully everything is okay. We're going to get that truck back in the pits and make sure the truck is okay to come back in the future in case that wheel lands on him once again. Let's take a look at this round 2 bracket, though. Pastrana 199 in a classic race here, taking on Escalade. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm is going to be taking on Boogie Van. Wolverine, that werewolf truck, is going to be taking on Team Suzuki. And Hot Wheels, down at the bottom, is going to be taking on Piece of Scrap. And Hot Wheels versus Piece of Scrap is a good one. Pastrana versus 199. Pastrana 199 versus an Escalade, excuse me, is another good one. I got a feeling Hot Wheels Firestorm, or Boogie Van rather, is no match for Team Hot Wheels Firestorm. So we'll see how they do. An Escalade on your left now, taking on Pastrana 199, and we are going green for round 2. Up and over that step up, neck and neck so far. Pastrana tightening up that screw that got him in trouble last time. Looking identical there, identical bounces, identical recoveries on the Jackrabbit, but it's an Escalade who comes up short on the gap. Going around our first turn, Pastrana leads heading into the slalom. An Escalade trying to make up some time by cutting that pit of disqualification just a little bit. And it works for him. Neck and neck heading out of the slalom. Pastrana smoother over that double roller. And smoother getting up onto starting elevation as well. But a rough turn there. An Escalade right there neck and neck with Pastrana. Over the cars, an Escalade still struggling here. Having to slow down even more to get that truck straightened out and away from that center divide. Nice, beautiful transfer from 199. An Escalade having a rough pass this time around. In a new lane, having to learn the opposite turns. He's struggling here. Pastrana 199 kind of getting into some trouble, but keeps it safe, keeps it on all fours, and gets out of that elevated turn first. He's headed to the final turn here in round 2. An Escalade clips the launch ramp coming out of that chicane. Gets real crooked over that jump too. Pastrana 199 moving on to round 2. First time I've seen the dodge in game since I made one back in like 2015. It was terrible, I'll give you that, but I don't have it anymore. I deleted the game at that point, and I wish I would have kept it. I wish I would have kept my files at least. But Pastrana 199, that awesome dodge, moving on to round 3, our semifinals tonight. Boogie Van coming out next on your left, taking on Team Hot Wheels Firestorm. Now, I counted him out when I was talking about the matchups here in round 2, but he has a shot. Anybody has a shot. But Team Hot Wheels Firestorm, a solid racer as a whole. This track or others, we saw him blaze through it last time around in round 1. Boogie Van just got lucky with his opponent going over early. Hot Wheels Firestorm in the lead. Boogie Van getting a solid landing there. Having to recover a little bit though. But it's Hot Wheels Firestorm leading heading into the slalom. Big slide though. Coming out of it. It's neck and neck here. Hot Wheels Firestorm does lead just a little bit. Boogie Van, nice downside, getting right up onto starting elevation. One slip from Team Hot Wheels Firestorm, and Boogie Van is right there with him. Hot Wheels Firestorm needs to hold it together, and Boogie Van needs to hold it together too. I mean, he's the one with all the pressure on him right now. Hot Wheels Firestorm, a bit of a rough transfer, but not as rough as Boogie Van coming up short there. Big hiccup in that front suspension, kicking that left front up in the air. Hot Wheels Firestorm going for the gap. Solid landing, nice save, nearly goes over the nose. Boogie Van makes up some time, but goes over in the elevated turn. Beautiful save, but it's not going to save the run. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm headed into that final turn. Will he make a mistake? No. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm up and over the triple, headed to the finish line, and headed to the semifinals here in our first bracket of the night. Boogie Van done this time around. We'll see if he can come back soon and get another shot. I would like to see Boogeyman come over to Season 2. That would be an awesome appearance. But heading on to our next race of the night, Wolverine on your right, taking on Suzuki. Wolverine, of course, as we mentioned, a werewolf node beam truck. Hopefully he can hold it together here in round 2 and get another advancement into the semifinals this time around. Suzuki keeping it off the nose just barely. Both of them beautifully done. 2 different approaches, but 2 solid landings. And 2 beautiful downsides on the gap. It's neck and neck. That werewolf truck keeping up with Suzuki beautifully. Who can handle the slaloms better? Team Suzuki was fast last time around, but Wolverine is a werewolf truck, so he has a lot of grip under those tires. Little slip from Wolverine, but it doesn't matter. Oh my goodness! The rear end explodes. He had a shot, but that truck just took a shot. Down go both back tires. What happened? Team Suzuki free and clear to grab a win and an advancement into the semifinals, grabbing our 3rd spot. Will she be able to cross that finish line? Solid transfer into the tunnel. It's looking good for Suzuki right now. Team Suzuki looking to get put onto that Season 2 roster. It would be the first time she's competed since, what, 2008? Be awesome to see her back. Coming around that elevated turn and heading out of that chicane. It's looking good. It doesn't look like she's going to have any mistakes, but this could be a decision maker right here. Oh, nice save. It almost was. Team Suzuki nearly getting into some trouble there in the turn. Keeps it safe though and heading up and over the finish line. Team Suzuki moving on to the semifinals. What a turn of events here, especially for Wolverine. You know, Team Wolverine is upset right now. I would be too. I would be very, I'd be mad, man. I mean, the truck just was holding together fine, was putting down an amazing run. Just clipped that double roller, and I guess, I don't know, man, those back tires just fell off. Hot Wheels coming out next on your right, taking on Piece of Scrap on your left. We're going green for your final race of the 2nd round. Up and over the Jackrabbit. Hot Wheels getting a better landing there, but Piece of Scrap is no slouch. We saw him last round absolutely kill it as far as making up some ground is concerned. Heading into the slalom, it is still Hot Wheels in the lead. Big slip from Hot Wheels there gives Piece of Scrap a chance to come back, and he does make up some ground as we head up and over that double roller. Hot Wheels coming out of it better though. Piece of Scrap struggling to get up onto starting elevation and get that truck settled down. Up onto the bridge. Looking good for Hot Wheels still. Piece of Scrap doing solid. He needs to get on the gas though, get some power down. Solid transfer from Hot Wheels, keeping it off the wall again. Piece of Scrap, no slouch again, but just too far behind at this point. Will he be able to come back on the gap? Overshoots that roller there. I don't think he's going to go for it. He's going to have to come up short, which is going to hurt his pass. Hot Wheels already coming out of that elevated turn is a little slippery, a little squirrely here, but I don't think it's going to happen for Piece of Scrap this time around. Hot Wheels heading into that turn. And beautifully done. Piece of Scrap does get another beautiful turn around it, but it's not going to happen for him. Too far behind. Hot Wheels moves on and grabs the final spot in the semifinals. What a race. Hot Wheels keeping that lead from start to finish. And Piece of Scrap, solid effort, but it just doesn't happen this time around. Take a look at our semifinal bracket here. Pastrana, 199, doing great tonight. He'll have to take on Team Hot Wheels Firestorm. Rough race to kick off the first race of the night of the semifinals. Team Suzuki is going to be taking on Hot Wheels, and that seems to me like an even matchup. Both of them doing great here in round 1 and round 2. It's going to be a good race if we can get both trucks across the finish line. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm coming out on your left and Pastrana 199 on your right. Let me just say, what a great night for the Hot Wheels team. Both of their trucks making it up into the semifinals, but we're going green here for your first race. Pastrana 199 has a, oh no, lead heading to the ground, but Team Hot Wheels leads going into that jackrabbit. Pastrana 199 goes down. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm moves on if he gets across that finish line. Wow. What a turn of events for Pastrana 199. Definitely not the way he wanted to go down, not the way I wanted to see him go down. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm free and clear here to grab a win. No pressure on his shoulders. He just needs to keep that truck in one piece and head across that finish line. Team Hot Wheels has to be excited, man. I mean, both of their trucks making it into the semifinals. One of their trucks making it into the finals. And I mean, let's be honest, a good shot that their second truck will also make it into the finals. We'll see how it goes here in the next race. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm getting kicked around all over the place, heading into that tunnel. Up and over that final roller, looking for the gap. Oh, up onto the nose. Nice save. Trying to get that truck settled down before taking on those cars up against the dumpster. You don't want to hit those. You get up on top of them, they are going to shut you down. You will be done if you are on top of those cars. Sliding around that final turn. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm is going to do it here in the semifinals. He'll be moving on to the finals tonight. Will Team Hot Wheels Firestorm qualify into Season 2? That awesome chrome body from World Finals 17. It's going to be a close one, I can tell you that. Whoever goes up against Team Hot Wheels Firestorm is in for a fight. Team Suzuki and Hot Wheels on your left. These two, it's going to be one of them. Team Hot Wheels is ecstatic, and they're hopeful. I can tell you that much. Team Suzuki heading up and over that kicker, that step up. And it's dead even heading over the jackrabbit. Team Suzuki gets down in the power down first. Beautiful landing from Team Suzuki. Hot Wheels goes over and down. Was trying to get a save, nearly pulled it off, but couldn't get it. Team Suzuki will be moving on to the finals. I have no doubt that she will make it to that finish line, so I'm not even going to say if she makes it. I know the way she's been racing all night, she can make it to that finish line. We'll see how she does here up on the bridge as she heads down the ski hill. Nicely done handling those cars, keeping some momentum. Looking for a beautiful transfer as she has been pulling off all night, and she continues. Team Suzuki with a great transfer into the tunnel and a great pass through the tunnel. This has to be one of our most perfect laps from Team Suzuki. And not just from Team Suzuki, she's the driver of this pass, and a beautiful landing on the elevated turn as well. This has to be one of our most perfect passes on this track as a whole, not specifically from Team Suzuki, as a whole. Coming around that final turn, out a little bit wide, but that doesn't take away from this run. She has had an absolutely perfect run here, and that is something to aspire to beat on this track. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to do it if we're honest here. I mean, I don't keep timers on these trucks or on these races, but it's going to be a tough one, I can tell you that much, and we'll see how it comes down to the finish line when we get into the next round here. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm taking on Team Suzuki, two incredibly tough trucks to beat here on this track tonight. And I mean, it really could go either way. Both of them have been killing it all night. Unfortunate break for Pastrana 199 in the semifinals, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm got that advancement, earned it by keeping that truck on all fours. And we'll see who comes to the line first here as Hot Wheels Firestorm comes out on your right and Team Suzuki on your left. Get ready to go green for your final race of the night here in Bracket 1. Up and over that step up, neck and neck. Team Suzuki gets to the ground first. Another beautiful landing from Team Suzuki, but Team Hot Wheels Firestorm is right there with her. Great turn from both of them. Hot Wheels Firestorm has a little bit of a lead here heading into the slalom. He did have a big slide once before, if I'm remembering correctly, so he needs to get that under control, and he seems to. Seems to be doing well here through the slalom. Suzuki beats him to the double roller, though. Both of them getting beautiful landings on the downside, heading up onto starting elevation. It is close as we head down the ski hill. Suzuki getting into some trouble. Hot Wheels Firestorm reclaims the lead as we head into the tunnel, looking for a transfer for Team Hot Wheels Firestorm. Both of them getting equal bounces there, but Team Hot Wheels gets into some trouble, holding that lead on Team Suzuki, but just barely. Who will handle the gap better? Team Suzuki manages to make up some ground over that last roller. Beautiful landing from Team Suzuki. Hot Wheels struggles. Coming out of the chicane is Team Suzuki in the lead, heading into that final turn. Team Hot Wheels Firestorm needs to be perfect, and Suzuki needs a mistake if Team Hot Wheels is going to come back, and it's not going to happen. Team Suzuki moves on to the second season of RORSRPS. We will be seeing her in the main field all season next season, unless she becomes a points loser at a show. In that case, she will be subbed out with one of our substitutes that you guys have the chance to name. If you guys have ideas for substitutes, I have 27 spots that I need to fill. If you put down a good suggestion for a substitute, I'll consider it. I mean, no guarantee that I will use it. I just want to fair warn you guys. I don't want you to get your feelings hurt, but I am considering every truck that you guys suggest for a substitute. Team Suzuki heading back to that starting line. Head over to Instagram tomorrow, Saturday, the 27th of January, and I will be, we will be hosting a vote. If I could talk, I'll be hosting a vote for which tour all the trucks we qualified this week will get placed on. Each one is going to get an option for one of our 3 tours: the Biggest and Baddest Tour, Indy Madness Tour, and the All-Star Challenge Tour with Team Thunder versus Team Mayhem. One last look at Suzuki as we head into our next bracket for tonight. Be sure to check out that Instagram at RORSRPS. Cockfighted Destruction will be back here trying to get into Season 2. Prowler is going to come back. He had a great run last time around. Hooligan is back once again. Hopefully he can get into the finals and get out of our hair, man. Boogie Van coming back once again. Really looking for that placement into Season 2. Lucas Stabilizer coming back. Really trying to make up for that loss in round 1. Monster Mutt Dalmatian, we'll see how she can do once again. Spider-Man 2099 again, looking for that, looking to get better than he did in round 1 and control all his demons that he seems to be fighting on this track. Gravedigger 8, another werewolf Gravedigger, and an old Gravedigger at that. Batman is coming back to get another shot. Obsessed is back here, or not back, Obsessed is debuting here for the first time on this track. Stone Crusher 2013, another werewolf truck coming out onto the bracket. A World Finals commemorative truck pack. That's interesting. We go with World Finals 10 on this one. Chillin' Villain 2021 has a shot as well. We're going to shuffle these seeds up 3 times and find our official matchups for our round 1 of racing. There's our 3rd shuffle and a look at your matchups here, or at your lineup that will lead to our matchups. And here are our matchups leading into round 1. We got Stone Crusher Werewolf taking on Monster Mutt Dalmatian. World Finals 10 is going to be taking on Hooligan. Chillin' Villain will take on Wolf's Head. Solid truck on this track. Cockfighted Destruction will take on Boogie Van. Doomsday versus Obsessed. Gravedigger will be taking on Batman. Spider-Man 2099 will be taking on Lucas Stabilizer. And Prowler is going to be facing off against Sly Cooper. Back once again looking for another spot, or looking for his first spot on Season 2. Just to be clear, he will be only getting 1 spot if he does indeed qualify Once his truck is qualified in, he's not going to get another shot after that. Monster Mud Dalmatian coming out, though, on your left, taking on Stone Crusher on your right. Now, Stone Crusher is a werewolf truck, so me personally, I would lean towards Monster Mud Dalmatian, but it could go either way if there's a big slip from Dalmatian on your left. And there's a light slip there, I would say, from Dalmatian coming up, overshooting that Jackrabbit, having to come up short on the gap here, getting into some trouble. Stone Crusher in the lead right now as we head into the slalom. Not looking good for Monster Mutt Dalmatian right now. She needs to make up some ground desperately if she wants to make it into Season 2. She's another truck that's been fighting a lot of demons here on this track. Rolling the truck every show that she's been in so far. Stone Crusher getting into trouble. Getting back up on the starting elevation, giving Dalmatian a chance here to come back. She does make up some ground, obviously, but it's not enough to grab the lead yet. Stone Crusher getting into trouble, falling off the bridge. Stone Crusher goes down. And that is done. That is not a fall that you can take lightly. Stone Crusher is done for tonight. Not to mention his truck is broken, so he would struggle for control even if he wasn't done. Monster Mutt Dalmatian free and clear to grab a win and an advancement into round 2 if she can just get across that finish line. Up onto that elevated turn, getting up on the nose for a second. Setting it back down, though, coming around that chicane. We'll see how she handles this final turn. Heading into it, it's looking good. Nice and tight, a little wide on the exit, but nicely done getting back on the power. Monster Mutt Dalmatian will be heading into round 2. Will tonight be the night that she makes it into the final round? I would like to see Monster Mutt Dalmatian make it into the second season, especially after the real-life performance of Jamie Sullivan in the All-Star Challenge. She did well, or the Superstar Challenge, excuse me. She did well, better than I was expecting her to do that night, and I was there. So the energy was electric in the stadium when she did her 2 consecutive backflips. So I would like to see Monster Mutt Dalmatian head into Season 2. World Finals 10 coming out next on your right, taking on Hooligan. Hooligan has had multiple chances here. I believe this is his 5th shot at trying to get into that final round and get qualified into Season 2. So we'll see if he can get it done this time, because even you guys are starting to mention how many times he's been around. World Finals 10, giving it his best shot, but slipping and sliding here in that first turn. Hooligan looking good so far through the slalom. World Finals 10 struggling to get grip and get that truck pointed in the direction he wants it to go. Hooligan coming up a little short on that double roller, getting kicked off sideways. World Finals 10 going over. He's going to get it back on all fours, but it's Hooligan who's just widening that gap on him. Another mistake from World Finals 10 through that turn on starting elevation. Airing it out, though. Look at the air from World Finals 10 as he gets up and over the cars, gets clipped on that center divide again. Well, not again, but also another mistake. Again was more referring to the mistakes, but he does get clipped on that center divide. Hooligan might be free and clear here to grab a win unless there's a big mistake in that final turn. See how he does here. Will he pull a Kraken? He does clip it, but he keeps it under control. Hooligan heading into that final turn, clipping that front tire again. This time keeping it down and getting through the turn as he heads up and over the finish line. Hooligan is moving on to round 2 tonight. World Finals 10 is done. Does manage to clear this triple, absolutely airing that truck out. He's done, though. He will not be back for the next round. We'll see if the World Finals commemorative truck pack gets picked again. But in that case, I'll probably be picking another truck because World Finals 10 seemed to struggle this time around. Chillin' Villain coming out on your right, taking on Wolf's Head. Of course, Chillin' Villain is that Hot Wheels brand custom from the early 2000s. This truck never ran, but it is an awesome truck, and this is an updated version for 2021 with those BKTs. Chillin' Villain getting into trouble. Nice save off the nose, but that does slow him down just a little bit. Wolf's Head, we know he's a threat on this track, and he's holding the lead on Chillin' Villain right now. Wolf's Head made it to the final round last time we saw him. I believe that was last episode. And he's something to be scared of if he can hold that truck together and keep it under control. And he's doing a good job of it here in round one. Chillin' Villain kind of struggling a little bit to get that truck pointed where he wants it to go. And it's Wolf's Head heading up and over those double rollers first. Both of them getting beautiful landings though. Wolf's Head, the first one up onto the bridge. Beautifully done over those cars, keeping a nice momentum to him, getting the power on the ground and keeping that truck moving. Chillin' Villain not the smoothest through the cars. Nice landing for Chillin' Villain. I believe Wolf's Head had a nice transfer as well. I was keeping an eye on Chillin' Villain. It looked like he was going to clip the roof of the tunnel, but he kept it off. Wolf's Head going for the transfer up onto that elevated turn. Gets into some trouble, but pulls it off. Chillin' Villain trying to make up some ground where he can. We'll see how he does in this final straight, and if he'll be the one to make it up in the final turn. Wolf's Head getting through it nice and tight, a little sloppy, but tight. And heading up and over the triple. It's not going to be Chillin' Villain this time. Wolf's Head moving on to round two. Unfortunate break for Chillin' Villain, but that's how the cookie crumbles, man. Sometimes you just don't got it. And Wolf's Head has it. We'll see Wolf's Head again in just a minute as we head into our next race of round one. Cockfighted Destruction is back on your right, taking on Boogie Van. Now this is the version of Boogie Van that I customized to turn into the Boogie Van that we just saw last time around, this 2013 scheme and body. We'll see how this version of Boogie Van does, as Cockfighted Destruction is in the lead right now. It's neck and neck over the Jackrabbit. Getting kicked all over the place. Boogie Van needs to get that under control. Neither one of them getting the smoothest landing over the gap. But it's still Cockfighted Destruction heading into the slalom first. Big slides this round for Cockfighted Destruction. Boogie Van heading up and over that double roller. He's right there with Cockfighted Destruction. Cockfighted Destruction, a slip in the turn, clips the dumpster. That slows him down enough for Boogie Van to grab a lead here, heading up onto the bridge. Coming down to the floor, it is neck and neck, essentially. Could go either way here with how this transfer goes, and it's Cockfighted Destruction who's smoother. Boogie Van making a solid effort, but he is behind at the moment. See who comes over the gap first. Boogie Van having to settle that truck down. He's going to have to go long to low. It looks like it's going to be Cockfighted Destruction moving on to round two tonight. Big slide from, or not even a slide, just the truck wouldn't turn for Boogie Van in that elevated turn. Cockfighted Destruction around that final turn, and he will be back for round two in just a little bit. Boogie Van is done here in round one. Cockfighted Destruction nearly blowing his lead. Manages to get across the line first and keep that truck safe, but nearly comes up too short on the triple. And we saw Extreme Insanity just last bracket come up short, and that's what it'll do to you if you do. Doomsday coming out next on your right, taking on Obsessed. Two really awesome trucks. Doomsday has a big fan base on this channel. Not so much because people comment here on YouTube, but over on Instagram when I was looking for requests, quite a few people were mentioning Doomsday, and they wanted Doomsday in Season 2. So we'll see if he can make it around this time as he heads up and over the Jackrabbit. Obsessed in the lead right now. Doomsday, big slap wheelie across the track here, heading for the gap. Manages to keep it safe and get a relatively decent landing. Obsessed heading around the slalom. Nice little gap on Doomsday right now. We'll see if Obsessed can hold on to it, or if Doomsday will put in the work and get back up into first. Doomsday getting crooked, trying to get back up onto starting elevation. He does do it just barely, but a lot of struggle there. That slows him down a lot. Obsessed up onto the bridge. Doomsday just now heading down that ski hill. Flips that front end hard on the cars. Again, that's going to slow him down even more. He needs to have a really perfect bottom floor, and Obsessed needs a couple mistakes if Doomsday's going to come back. Through the rollers for Doomsday. Obsessed already getting up onto that elevated turn. A beautiful landing from Obsessed. Doomsday going long to low. That's just going to hurt his time even more. Unless there's a big mistake from Obsessed in that final turn, Doomsday is done. Coming around that final turn for Obsessed. A beautiful turn. Doomsday just now getting there. Obsessed is moving on to round 2 tonight. What a pass from Obsessed. I would say that if he continues driving like that, he has a shot at making it to the finals, if not making it into season 2. We could potentially be seeing him all season, but it's too early to say that, so I'm not gonna put that on him right now. But it's a potential. He has a solid strategy for this track. Worked out great for him here in round 1. Check this out. Batman coming out on your left, taking on that Werewolf Gravedigger 8. Very early version of Gravedigger here at the Spin Master Showdown. We'll see if that truck can even hold together through this track. A very new school track as opposed to that old school Gravedigger hard hit on the front end going over already. They do let him keep running somehow. Batman really airing that truck out, nearly getting into some trouble there. Gravedigger looking good as far as, keeping going, handling the track and what it throws at him. Emphasis on what it throws at him with that roll coming off of that first step up. But it's Batman still holding that lead as he heads up and over that double roller. Beautiful jump back up onto starting elevation for Batman. Gravedigger, nice downside, beautiful downside for a Werewolf truck. Heading around that turn on starting elevation out super wide. But he's putting down a solid pass for a real OG monster truck. Batman heading down into the tunnel, solid transfer. It's been an easy run for him so far. Should be an easy advance into round 2. We'll see if he can get across that finish line, though, and maybe Gravedigger could come back here. Batman looking for the gap. Solid landing there. Gravedigger completely destroyed here on the bottom floor. See if he can get across that finish line. He's going to go long to low. Solid. Batman getting around that final turn, heading over the triple and to the finish line. Batman moves on to round 2. Gravedigger getting into trouble there with the launch ramp in the chicane. Gravedigger will potentially be finishing here. I don't want to jinx him. Heading over the triple. Yes, he will be finishing here in round 1, but he will not be advancing to round 2. Gravedigger is done here in our second bracket. Rough night for the Gravediggers once again. Lucas Stabilizer back on your left. Of course, that is that Werewolf Node Beam version. Once again, Spider-Man 2099 on your right. Both of these trucks failed in that last bracket. At least Stabilizer got across the finish line. We'll see if she can beat 2099 here in the second bracket of the night. Stabilizer just rolling over that step up, airing it out over the Jackrabbit and getting a solid landing. Can she clear the gap? Spider-Man 2099 can. Lucas Stabilizer does well. Heading into the slalom, Spider-Man 2099 prone to slides here, prone to spinning out through the slalom, seeming to control it for now, and he keeps it safe all the way through. Stabilizer getting kind of crooked there. Can she make it back up? She can. Onto starting elevation, but there's a big gap between Spider-Man 2099 and her. And it's just getting bigger with the way Spider-Man can handle those cars. These Werewolf trucks do have to take it a little bit more cautiously than our V4 trucks just because If you clip those cars at the wrong angle, you will snap a wheel off. You could pop a tire. You can rip the whole front end out. I mean, it just depends. Stabilizer getting into trouble in the tunnel. Bounces off the wall a little bit, but gets a save. Wasn't too hard of a hit, so they are letting her run. She's going to struggle, though, but Spider-Man 2099 struggles. Wasn't even paying attention, was keeping an eye on Lucas Stabilizer. I turn around, and Spider-Man 2099 is nearly upside down there. Lucas Stabilizer might be finishing the race again, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen for her tonight either. Spider-Man 2099 headed to the finish line. Lucas Stabilizer is done here in round one once again. Two round two losers from our first bracket. Only one can move on, and it is Spider-Man 2099. We'll see him again in just a minute for round two. Lucas Stabilizer is out. She crosses that finish line. Nice skills moves, though. Oh, hard hit. And down she goes. Lucas Stabilizer trying to get a save there off the nose. Doesn't happen for her. We'll see if she can come back another time and try to avenge herself here. Prowler coming out on your right, taking on Sly Cooper, bringing back that raccoon body on your left. Two animals heading up face to face here in round one. Up and over that step up. It is neck and neck so far, but it's just begun. Prowler taking a slower approach over the Jackrabbit, but we've seen that work out for him before, making it all the way up into the final round. Sly Cooper looking good, though, around that first turn. Neck and neck into the slalom. Prowler trying to take a more grippy approach to it, and it does kind of slow him down, I would say. Sly Cooper is the first one to the double roller. Prowler does potentially make up some ground. I mean, they were kind of neck and neck already, but Sly Cooper comes out of it first. Heading onto the bridge, though, it's neck and neck once again. Sly Cooper, slight lead still. Prowler looking for a solid transfer here. Sly Cooper pulls it off. Prowler getting into some trouble, trying to keep it off the wall. He does, but he's going slow now. He's behind Sly Cooper big time. Sly Cooper coming up short, keeping it off the nose. Prowler landing that gap. We know he can do it. Know he's capable. Coming out of the chicane, Sly Cooper still holds that lead. Can he hold it through that final turn? First one into it. Prowler behind. And it's not going to happen for Prowler this time around. Sly Cooper moves on to round two. Sly Cooper gets a shot here in round two. We saw a similar body style truck from the same creator, Shadow the Hedgehog, take a win and get a spot in season two. Can Sly Cooper do it? We'll see here as Monster Mutt Dalmatian comes out first to take on Hooligan. Wolf's Head will take on Cockfighted Destruction. Obsessed will take on Batman, and Spider-Man 2099 will take on Sly Cooper at the bottom of the bracket here in round two. This is going to be an interesting night. There's a couple trucks here. I want to see Hooligan win just so we can get him off the brackets. Wolf's Head has a shot. Obsessed is extremely fast, but Batman is solid. And Spider-Man 2099, if he can just tame that truck, he fights the truck more than he fights the track here. And if he can just tame that truck, he could potentially get into season two. But we'll see what happens as we move on with the night as Hooligan takes on Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Up and over the Jackrabbit, Hooligan in the lead. Getting crooked, though. Monster Mutt Dalmatian comes back here. Who's going to land smoother? Oh, Monster Mutt Dalmatian going for a ride and tucked into the corner. Surrounded by dumpsters, Monster Mutt Dalmatian goes down. Hooligan is getting an advancement into the semifinals tonight. Down goes Monster Mutt. Can Hooligan get across that finish line? One step closer to a win here if he can just finish in round two. Really drifting that truck around, slides against that chain link fence there. Up onto the bridge. Huge air for Hooligan. Gets kind of kicked sideways, but handles those cars nicely otherwise. Up and into the tunnel. Solid transfer and beautiful control through the tunnel. Up over that final roller. Heading up and over the gap. Hooligan comes up a little short, hard hit on the nose. But that's all right. He's still running. Coming around that elevated turn. Hooligan looks good to finish. Will he keep it together in that final turn? Out a little bit wide, but that doesn't matter. Hooligan makes it around the turn, up and over the triple, headed to the finish line. Hooligan advances. He is our first truck into the semifinals tonight. Nicely done. Get out of here, Hooligan. Heading into our next race of the night, Hooligan will get up back onto starting elevation. We'll see him again in a minute. Cockfighting Destruction coming out now on your left, taking on Wolf's Head. This has potential to be a great race between these two trucks. Of course, Wolf's Head with the history of having a finals appearance, not a world finals appearance, a finals appearance here on this track. Can he make it to the finals again and make it into the second season? He'll have to get through Cockfighted Destruction here. And these trucks look good heading around that first turn, but it's Wolf's Head getting into trouble. Makes up some ground in the slalom. What a way to do it for Wolf's Head. Comes out of it first. From behind to back in the lead in a matter of seconds here. Cockfighted Destruction a little bit sloppy over those double rollers. Heading into the ski hill, Wolf's Head still just expanding that lead on Cockfighted Destruction. Nicely done for Wolf's Head. A little slower than I'd like to see him go, but I mean, he's moving forward, progressing. Looking for a solid transfer, gets it done, comes up short for Cockfighted Destruction. Unable to pull off a transfer this time around, just trying to make up the time at this point. Hooligan heading for the launch ramp, looking for a beautiful landing. Pulls it off. Cockfighted Destruction gets a great landing and a launch, absolute launch into that elevated turn. Struggling to get that truck under control though. It is Wolf's Head holding on to the lead, heading into this final turn. And no mistakes from Wolf's Head. Cockfighted Destruction looks like he's done. Yes, Wolf's Head gets across that finish line first. Cockfighted Destruction is done for tonight down in round 2. Wolf's Head moves on to the semifinals. Nice stoppie from Cockfighted Destruction, but that doesn't bring him back into the next round. These trucks pulling out the skills moves tonight on that little speed bump at the end. Next out on the track, Batman is going to be taking on Obsessed. This is set to be an interesting race. Both of these trucks pretty solid here on this track. Obsessed put down one of our faster times just not too long ago in round 1. Heading up and over the jackrabbit for these two. It is neck and neck. Both of them a little sloppy, but it's Obsessed who recovers better. Obsessed leading out of the first turn, heading into the slalom. Doesn't look good for Batman right now. Oh, Obsessed clips the pit of disqualification and spins him out. Batman grabs the lead, but it is slight, heading into the double rollers. Obsessed sloppy. Batman just widening that gap a little bit. Obsessed doing everything he can to try and get up into the lead once again. Batman looking good heading up onto the bridge though. Looking for a transfer here. Both trucks gonna go for it. Batman looking solid. Obsessed decent, but Obsessed is gonna tap the wall. That doesn't hurt him too much, but he does slow down to try and correct that truck. That hurts him. Batman looking for the gap. Obsessed also gonna go for the gap. Two similar landings. Batman comes out of it better. Batman leads out of the chicane too and headed to that final turn. It looks like it's gonna be Batman here. Coming around that final turn, it is Batman. Will be moving on to our semifinals, grabbing that third spot in the bracket. Obsessed is done here in round 2. We'll see if he can come back again and potentially get another shot at making it into season 2. He throws down some great passes. He might be able to do it. Batman, we'll see again in just a minute. We head into our final race of the semifinals here tonight in our second bracket. Sly Cooper on your left, taking on Spider-Man 2099. Both of these trucks have potential. Who will come out on top? Up and over the step up, it is neck and neck. Spider-Man looking good, taking a rollover approach this time. Going nice and easy over the Jackrabbit too. And it's neck and neck over the gap. These two are dead even right now. Exact same landings. Heading into that first turn, Spider-Man a little bit tighter, but as you get higher up onto that little dome, you're kind of put yourself at more risk of spinning out, and spinning out he does as Spider-Man heads into the slalom. Prone to doing that, as I mentioned before in this video. Falls victim to it once again. Heading up and over the double roller, Spider-Man reclaims the lead as Sly Cooper is sloppy. Can that wagon raccoon tail make it back up into the lead? We'll see, as he seems to be struggling heading up onto the bridge. Spider-Man just widening that gap here. Looking for a transfer. Beautifully done from Spider-Man. Sly Cooper solid, but brake checks that truck on the landing. That slows him down even more, hurting his chances at grabbing a win here. Spider-Man trying to keep that truck under control this time around. He does. Sly Cooper, solid landing, but he thinks he's too far behind. Spider-Man heading over that jump and into that final turn. It's not going to be Sly Cooper unless there's a huge mistake. And there isn't one. Spider-Man 2099 heading up and over the triple and to the finish line, nearly coming up too short on that triple. Almost gave the win away too early. Spider-Man needs to get over the triple, not land inside of it if he wants to take a win here in the semifinals. He'll be moving on, and we'll see how it goes here. We'll see how the semifinals treat him. Let's take a look at the semifinal bracket. Hooligan is going to be taking on Wolf's Head, and Batman taking on 2099. Two superheroes at the bottom of the bracket. Hooligan versus Wolf's Head, excuse me, in the top of the bracket. And I mean, that first race could go either way, but it's looking like it might be Spider-Man if he can get that truck under control. Batman has been solid tonight, but I think he might make a fatal mistake there in that semifinal round. We'll see how it goes. Hooligan on your right, Wolf's Head on your left, and we're going green in the semifinals. Beautiful landings from both trucks on the downside. Solid downside from Wolf's Head. Hooligan struggling. Wolf's Head is crooked over the gap, though. That's going to hurt his time here. Hooligan bouncing off the dumpsters. That's going to hurt his time. Neck and neck as we head through the slalom. Both of them getting equal amounts of sloppiness through that first turn, it seems. Wolf's Head a very slight lead heading into the double rollers. Hooligan kind of taking a roll into an approach, which, I mean, it kind of worked for him, but it slowed him down. You need all the speed you can get on this track when it's available. Hooligan has a lead heading onto the bridge, though. And Hooligan makes another slip, and Wolf's Head comes back, leading heading into the tunnel. Can he pull off a solid transfer? He does. Hooligan a bit too bouncy. Keeps it off of one wall, tries to keep it off the other, succeeds, but he struggles. Wolf's Head struggling through the dip. Wolf's Head, first time he's gone long to low in a long time, if ever. Hooligan smacks that face on the ramp, and it's looking like it's going to be Wolf's Head. He comes cleaner through that elevated turn. And he is the first one into that final turn. Can Wolf's Head hold on to it? Hooligan making a solid effort there, but it's not enough. Wolf's Head up and over the triple and headed to the finish line. Wolf's Head will be moving on to the finals tonight once again. Can he grab that Season 2 spot? If he doesn't tonight, I can assure you he most likely will in the future. This is his second time being featured in the finals. He will be back in the finals, whether the next time he gets a Season 2 qualification or not. He will be back in the finals again if he doesn't make it through tonight. Next out on the track, though, Batman on your right, taking on Spider-Man 2099. This is set to be another wild race here in our semifinals. We're about to go green in the superhero race. 2099, kind of a, I mean, this is a personal opinion here, just kind of throwing it in there, kind of random, but Spider-Man 29, kind of the Batman of the Spider-Verse. And Batman, of course, is Batman. So it's kind of an even match here. Batman struggling to get that truck under control over the gap. Spider-Man losing that rear end once again, giving Batman a chance to gain some ground here through the slalom. And it is kind of neck and neck coming out of it. Spider-Man, of course, still holding that lead, but slides again. Batman gets right neck and neck with him. Spider-Man smoother, Batman a little sloppy over the slalom, over the double rollers, and that puts him crooked and gives him a sloppy entry into that turn on starting elevation. He falls behind once again. Spider-Man looks good right now. Spider-Man 2099 might be making it into the final round. Comes up a little short for the transfer. Batman gets a solid landing, but he gets crooked. Up onto two wheels, sets it back down, but that slowed him down a lot, and he was already struggling. Spider-Man 2099 looking for the gap. Uh-oh, goes for a ride. Over he goes. Looking for a save, somehow gets it under control and gets back on those tires, but that is going to hurt big time. Batman is in the lead. He's going to need a big slip if Spider-Man 2099 wants to come back. Around that final turn, and Batman reclaims the lead and grabs a win here in the semifinals. We will be seeing him in the final round. Batman moves on tonight. Spider-Man 2099 had the lead the entire race nearly and blows it in the end. Unfortunate break for Spider-Man. He potentially would have been better off. He had a big gap behind him. He would have been better off going long to low. Sometimes you just got to take that chance and do it, especially if you're the one in the lead with a big gap behind you. Wolf's Head going to be facing off against Batman here in the finals, and this is going to be a close one. I would love to see Batman in Season 2. Wolf's Head, though, consistent and kills it every time. I'm not sure Batman has what it takes here in the final round this time. Might need a little bit more experience on the track in order to get a qualification. We'll see how it goes, though. Either one could do it. Wolf's Head could make a mistake and it could go to Batman. Batman could make a mistake and it could go to Wolf's Head. We'll see how it goes here as we go green in your final round of racing here tonight in episode 6. Up and over the step up, Batman absolutely launching it. Wolf's Head taking that rollover approach. And it's Wolf's Head with a smoother downside on the Jackrabbit. Both of them getting, not the cleanest landings. Batman worse off, though. Wow, what a slalom entry for Wolf's Head. He is killing it right now. Batman trying to do the same, is making up some ground, but he's not in the lead. Batman struggles over the double rollers, falls even farther behind, struggles once again, getting back up to starting elevation. He might be done. Wolf's Head airing it out, getting up onto the bridge. Solid over the cars and keeping that momentum rolling. Batman does a good job as well, but he's too far behind at the moment. It's not going to happen for him unless he gets on the gas and really throws down a solid rest of his run. Beautiful transfer. He's on his way to making it into that Season 2 qualification. Wolf's Head going for the gap, of course. Solid landing. Batman going long to low. That's going to hurt him even more. It's looking like it's Wolf's Head. Wolf's Head struggling there in the chicane, but Batman is too far behind to capitalize on it. Wolf's Head heading into the final turn, and it is Wolf's Head coming out of it and heading to the finish line. Wolf's Head is your next Season 2 qualifier. We will see him all season long. And if you guys want to vote which tour he gets placed on, head over to Instagram. Tomorrow, all the trucks that have qualified this week will be getting their votes. And Sunday, we will have our answer as to which tours they'll be placed on. Wolf's Head goes over, and he is done. We'll see. I think they're going to roll him back over for his glamour shot here after he destroyed that body. But there he is, Wolf's Head. One last look at him here at the Spin Master Challenge, and we'll see who our next qualifiers are next week. I'll be taking a break for the weekend, but we'll get our tour placements done, and that's going to be exciting. Head over to Instagram, RORSRPS. I'll see you over there, and I'll see you next week for more Spin Master Qualifier.